Hi, everybody. It's been 2.5 years, actually a little bit more than that, since the last time I posted a video. I posted my last video February 7th, 2021, and the title of that video at the time was 7 Years, Where Have I Been? Well, that's because on February 7th, 2021, it had been 7 years since I had posted a video on my YouTube channel, or almost. April of that year was going to be 7 years. Um, So, a little crazy. And in that video, I talked to you about my personal life a bit and what has happened in the last 7 years. But I said I would post again soon, and I never did. I'm sorry. Life just kind of took over. But I'm here today, and I'm going to start posting some more YouTube videos because this channel is now going to become a little vlog diary for me because I have just undergone a major life-changing thing and I want to vlog it for people who might also go through this or have been through it just to see the videos and to, if you're going to go through it, see what you can kind of expect. So before I get into it, just briefly, I'm going to go over new environment. Yes, yes, yes. Last time I posted a video, I was still living with my mom because after I had separated from my ex, I was living with my mom. I now live in my own place. I have a cute little two-bedroom. This is a spa room because I did graduate from esthetician school and I got my license. So this is a little spa room in here with all my setup and a bedroom back there. This is my kitchen. Living room's over here. Bathroom is through this door. So yeah, I have a nice little place of my own now. That happened in April of 22. Before that, in December of 2021, Josh came and visited for 3 months. So he was here from December of 2021 to March of 2022. And that was wonderful. I missed him so much. COVID kept us apart for almost 2 years. So in that last video I had talked about, we had kind of made a promise to see each other every 6 to 9 months. That obviously didn't happen with COVID. So it's unfortunate, but it's the case. And I had some other health issues come up it's just going to make this video really long. I already recorded this video once and it was ridiculously long with all that way down of that other information. But this video is just meant to be for what this video vlog is going to be about, and that is I had weight loss surgery a month ago today. So today is September 15th, 2023, and on October 15th, I had gastric sleeve surgery. So I'm just going to kind of talk about what I went through with the process and the surgery once I got home, after that 1 week post-op appointment, and what happens here. Now, I'm in Illinois, north of Chicago, and things are different everywhere. But this is just from what I've gone through and what I've been through, and my little breakdown. And then I'll inform you guys of the progress that I've had, my expectations, how my support's been, what the future is going to bring, and a couple of my NSVs. Now, I'll go into what NSVs are a little bit later into the video, but let's get started. So, first off, the process of all of this started back in January of 2022. I know it's a very, very long time. I kind of put some stuff off, and that was my own doing, unfortunately, but I got there in the end. Like, that's all that matters, right? So I did an information session in April of 2022 after seeing my endocrinologist in January of 2022, while Josh was still here. And she said, it was my new endocrinologist, and she said, well, you have qualifying markers for weight loss surgery, and I really think you should consider it. Now, I have had other endocrinologists recommend the surgery, but I was always really scared. And I think that's because I was, in my early 20s and I didn't know what was going to happen. And I had known only a couple people who had had weight loss surgery and they did really good and then they backtracked and they reversed. And I was afraid of that because unfortunately, I'm one of those people. I do something real good for a little bit and then I fall off the wagon and I was really scared. So I put it off. But I did the information session in April, found out there's a health questionnaire that I had to fill out, and I also had to do a sleep study test. I put all of that off for so long. And I think a lot of it was because in my mind, I was like, well, I think I can do this on my own if I'm just disciplined. And I had done things over time, like I had tried keto but moderated because of my diabetes. Um, I had done like Weight Watchers. I had done all these things and I did. I had issues with disciplining myself and I would fall off the wagon. I'm the first person to admit it. Take accountability, everybody, right? Um, so what really drove me to doing it was in December of 2022, I had been diagnosed with a really bad foot injury. And that's the health stuff that I'm not going to get into detail with, but I had essentially developed charcot foot in my left foot, and I was going to have possibly reconstruction surgery. And the surgeon told me, your A1C in October was really high. You need to get that down before we can even think about having surgery. My A1C in October was 11.3. I'm the first person, again, accountability. I didn't take my meds. I ate garbage. I didn't give a crap. I did not give a crap. I drank regular soda. I ate ice cream and sweets and ordered food a lot. My weight went up for a really long time. I sat at the same weight and I was like, okay, I'm not gaining weight. I'm not gaining weight. I did put on weight then. So, because I'm, in my 30s now, putting on weight's easier now. So I really had to discipline myself. And with that foot injury, I couldn't work. So I was like, okay, well, I need to be able to get back to work. I couldn't put weight on my foot, and I was working in a grocery store. So luckily, I had a part-time job at a local police department where I could sit at a desk. But having just gotten my esthetician license, I need to be on my feet. So I knew I had to do what I had to do. So I started disciplining myself again. I started wearing a Dexcom. A Dexcom is a CGM. And a CGM, for people who don't know, for diabetics, is a continuous glucose monitor. And there's Dexcoms and there's Libres. There might be more, but those are the two most common ones. And what they do is they constantly read your blood sugar. I have a little receiver that if I push the button, the screen lights up and it tells me in that moment what my blood sugar is. So I can take accountability and I can go, okay, I ate this, took this much insulin, it didn't work. I need to take a correction. So that goes on my stomach, and that became my best friend. I had that thing with me everywhere because I had to, but I always had it out and I was constantly checking my blood sugar. And then in January, beginning of January, I had another appointment with my endocrinologist and I had to have had blood work done. And she told me my A1C went from 11.3 to an 8.3. So from October to then, it went from that. But I actually tell people that in reality, end of December to that appointment, maybe 3 weeks. I was really good about taking my medicine, really good about what I ate, really good about watching what I was eating and what kind of medicine I was taking. And around the holidays, people, like, come on. 3 weeks, I was super diligent, and that happened from 11.3 to an 8.3. And at that point, my surgeon was like, okay, we can do a surgery. Now, I didn't have to have recovery surgery, like, or reconstruction surgery, thankfully. But I did have to have an Achilles tendon lengthening on my left foot so that my foot would have the mobility that it had had before, but didn't have once I had the injury because I had to be in a boot all the time. So I had that surgery. And shortly after that, I had another appointment with my endocrinologist. And at that point, my A1C was 6.8. And I'm so proud of myself. And I just had another appointment a couple weeks ago, and it's still 6.8, but I'll get into that. But in that time between March and like I want to say it was like April, end of April, I want to say, from my surgery to the next time I saw my doctor, I had filled out the health questionnaire, I had done the sleep study test, and sent all the paperwork over and was able to decide which surgeon I wanted and make an appointment to talk to a nurse first and foremost to get my general information. I had another appointment with the dietitian, like a introduction appointment that was a video call, and set up the appointment to see the surgeon. I talked to the surgeon. So up here north of Chicago in the suburbs, um, there is Dr. Hidari and Dr. Guerrero. And Dr. Hidari, about 8 or 9 years ago now, did an emergency surgery on my brother because my brother's appendix exploded. And he walked around for about a week after it had exploded, had some terrible abdominal pain, and thought he just had a stomach bug. And turned out he had been walking around with an appendix exploded, and he's very lucky to be alive. He's part of like 0.15% of people whose organs are like positioned differently and it stopped the toxin from getting to him. But Dr. Hidari essentially saved my brother's life. So I felt very comfortable picking Dr. Hidari for this. And he has so many successful weight loss surgeries under his belt, and he studied under the surgeon who started developing the weight loss surgeries. I apologize, I can't think of his name at the moment, but he studied under him. So I felt really, really, really good about that surgeon. So for that first appointment with him, we go in. He asks me if I've looked into the surgeries. I said yes. He said, "So do you know what one you want?" I said, "I want the gastric sleeve surgery." He said, "Okay, that's going to help you with your diabetes, your high blood pressure, your sleep apnea, high cholesterol. Like it's going to help all these things." Um, and to have weight loss surgery, you have to meet certain criteria. And one of those things, or a couple of those things, are type 2 diabetes, a BMI over 40 or 45, I believe, and sleep apnea and high blood pressure. I had all four of those babies. So I qualified to have it, but obviously insurance had to approve it. So he also talked to me about kind of what to expect, surgery wise, process wise, weight wise, and just kind of everything in between. But he had said by the end of the year, you likely, realistically, could lose anywhere between 80 to 100 pounds. And I was having the surgery in August. Well, I didn't know that at the time, but he's like, you could do this. And I was so excited. I can't tell you how excited I was. I have been a heavier girl all my life. I mean, when I was younger, I was smaller, but like teenage up, I've been a big girl. And I kind of accepted it because anything that I did didn't work. So when I talked to him about that, I was super excited. He was telling me what to expect with the surgery. Like, oh, you get the surgery, you get approved, you'd have to spend a night in the hospital. You're gonna have to do these things, but we'll take care of you. And I felt super good about it. So before he left the room and the insurance coordinator came in and the scheduling coordinator came in to schedule other things, he told me, today down in the lobby, go have blood work done because um, you're going to need that blood work done. So went down there after the appointment, got the blood work done and everything was. I also had to have a GI done, an upper GI done, and I went and had gotten that done and everything too. Um, but before I left that day with that appointment, the insurance coordinator came in and asked my insurance information, informed me, oh, your insurance company, they're pretty good about getting back to us once we've sent off the paperwork. It's like 2 weeks. I was like, well, that's awesome to hear. Like, sweet. Um, and talked to me about all of that. And then the woman who schedules appointments comes in and she informs me, okay, we're gonna have to set up a couple of appointments. You're gonna have to do 2 pre-op classes that are required to be finished before you can have your surgery. So if you have your surgery scheduled, that's fine, but you have to have them done before your surgery date. Awesome. I also had to schedule a psych evaluation, which your girl was stressing. I have some mental health issues, so I was very stressed. I didn't know what all it was going to entail, and I'll get into that. Um, and then I also had to sign up for a video chat with a dietitian. And so got all of that scheduled, got it all going, and ended up having to call like a couple days later and be like, those pre-op classes we scheduled, I have something else going on. Can I reschedule them? So I ended up being, I was going to do those at the end of June, and I ended up having to do them into July, like July 11th and the 18th. Yeah, the 18th, yeah, July 11th and the 18th. Um, and that was all well and good. I did the video appointment with the dietitian and everything went good. It was just kind of talking about like there are certain expectations you're going to have to do or implement some things before surgery. Excuse me. And a couple of those things were like you have to eliminate caffeine before the surgery and stop drinking carbonation. And the carbonation is a thing that you can never have again. Like the caffeine's one thing, caffeine they want you off before surgery. I'm pretty sure around the 5 week, 6 week mark, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, you can have caffeine again. Small amounts, but you can have caffeine again. Um, but carbonation, you can never have carbonation again, especially with gastric sleeve surgery. They're removing a portion of your stomach, and carbonation just expands your stomach. So if you were to drink carbonation after gastric sleeve, you're like reversing everything that they just did because your stomach's going to expand. Um, so I was like, okay. So I started that probably about a month and a half before my surgery. So I was good and off carbonation and good and off caffeine because you know what those caffeine headaches, those caffeine withdrawal headaches were terrible. Um, anyway, so then I had my psych eval and they give you a questionnaire to fill out for the psych eval and it's like 100 and some questions. I'm like, okay, so it asks you about past trauma. Do you have support? Do you not have support from certain people? How do you feel about going into it? All that kind of psych eval, general stuff. And then I told my mom I had been nervous, and she took me and she's like, it's not a test. You're going to be fine. I get there, and they tell me there's more paperwork I need to fill out. And if this paperwork was not a Scantron form, like with the bubbles that you had to fill all the way in. So I sent my mom a text. I was like, "You said this wasn't a test; it's a freaking scantron." And like, so got a good chuckle out of that. But then went in and did the psych eval, and she was lovely. She was so wonderful, and I was stressing about my mental health, like disqualifying me. But what they go over is more just, are there like traditions with your family that's going to make this hard for you? Because some cultures gather around food. And my family is German, and as much as it's not our culture thing, it's my family thing. If you're having a get together, you're having food. So, I said, "Oh, it's not a cultural thing, but like that's what my family does is we gather around food." And she was like, "I totally get it." But sometimes with the cultural thing, it's really difficult because there are some people who are like, my family will push food on me. My family will not push food on me. My family will just bring food that I'm like, I can't have that and I want it. Um, so, and other things like, oh, you have a support system, your family supports you. Do you have people in your life who don't support you? What have you said to them? Do you have people who are going to worry because depending on your surgery and depending on your progress, you're gonna lose weight very fast, and you do. Where some people could get concerned that you're like ill or something. So it's going over those kinds of things, and it's going over like, do you think mentally you'll be able to handle it? Because if not, we can set up counseling appointments for you, or anytime down the line, we can do counseling. So it was really good. And then she told me after she took all the notes and had all the paperwork, she said, I'm going to give this to your doctor. And in about a week to 2 weeks, you should hear from your doctor that they sent the paperwork to insurance, and then it'll take about a week to 2 weeks for insurance to get back to us. So expect it to be maybe 3 to 4 weeks before you hear anything about whether you got approved or not. And I said, okay, thank you, and left. And that was early in the morning, the day I had the appointment. That afternoon, like 6 o'clock that night, I had already gotten an email saying that the doctor sent over my paperwork for insurance. And I cannot tell you how excited I was. So then it was just the waiting game of, am I going to get approved? Because some insurance companies have requirements like, okay, well, we need to see this person lose this much weight before we'll approve it to show that they're dedicated to doing this. And I didn't know if my insurance was going to be the way. My insurance was not that way. So, July 5th, coming back from the 4th of July holidays, I got a call in the car while my brother was driving me home. to schedule my surgery because insurance had approved me. So they called to give me some in general information, schedule a pre-op meeting with the surgeon that was going to have other people in it, who were having surgery around the same time as me. Inform me that I have to have an EKG done, a in general physical, and blood work all done, and then schedule the surgery date and schedule the 1 week post-op date. And the soonest they could get me in was August 15th. So I was like, perfect. I will take August 15th. My July 18th, which was the last day of my pre-op class, was also the pre-op meeting with all the other people, and the surgeon, which was wonderful. And I got lots of information, which is great. Like this center that I went through in northern Illinois, north of Chicago, is amazing. They are so informative. With the my chart and stuff, they answer your questions. They're wonderful. The whole team is wonderful. Um, and then August 5th, this is another thing they told me. August 5th, I had to start a 10-day liver shrinking diet. Now, some places, some states, their diet before your surgery all varies. Some states have it where you can only be on clear liquids. Some states have it where you can be on the liver shrinking or this and that. Josh's friend in Australia had his, and he could have clear liquids and protein shakes. But that was it, no food. Okay. Well, the liver shrinking diet was nice in the sense that I could still eat some food. It was 3 protein shakes a day, veggies out the butt. Like you could have as many veggies as you want, but certain veggies, and I'll get into that. And then 3 to 5 servings of fruit, of certain fruits, like grapes, strawberries, bananas, apples, pears, oranges, grapefruit. Um, but those servings would be like half of a fruit. So if you had a small banana, you could only have half of that small banana, and that was a single serving of fruit. So if you were going to eat a whole small banana, that was 2 of your servings of fruit, and you kind of wanted to spread it out through the day because all that was left you could eat other than the protein shakes was vegetables. And of course, that included things like lettuce, kale, cucumber, onion, tomato, um, zucchini, squash, um, really fruits that weren't super starchy, or vegetables that weren't super starchy. Sorry, vegetables that weren't super starchy. So I ate a lot of salads. And of course, in that time of that 10-day liver shrinking diet, I had a family reunion where there was all kinds of yummy food. And I was sitting there eating my salads. But I'm so grateful. My stepmom was helping me come up with things. She cooked me like riced cauliflower with other veggies in it, with like a little spice in it and stuff like that. She made vegetable soup for me. So like that entire weekend, my stepmom was so wonderful. My brother made a soup that had some beans in it, but he drained it and could get the beans out, and I had veggie soup that my brother made too. So like everybody was so supportive. Josh was supportive. My brother, my dad, my stepmom, my mom, my stepdad, my family, the rest of my family, my friends, they were all super supportive. And then August 15th came and I had to be at the hospital at 6 in the morning for a 9 o'clock surgery. You had to stop eating at 5 o'clock the night before, and then no liquids, any of any sort, after 3 in the morning for me. So that was fun. I could only take a little sip of water in the morning with my medication. Um, so yeah, that was fun. Got to the hospital, got checked in, they came in and checked on me. And one thing that they offer is if you don't know how your pain tolerance is going to be, they offer an injection in your back, kind of like an epidural, but it's not an epidural, to help with your pain management. It helps for the first 24 hours after surgery. I opted not to have it just because I've heard horror stories of getting shots in the back. And I was like, I don't know how my pain tolerance will be, but I'm sure like the pain meds that they give me will help. So I opted out of that. And then they took me back and they have you get onto the table and then they strap your arms down like this. So it's a little intimidating. I was a little scared, but I was only conscious for it for like 2 seconds. I didn't even feel them like put me down. I just put my arms out and then I was out. Um, So the surgery took about 75 minutes. I ended up being in recovery for almost 2 hours because they didn't have a room upstairs for me yet. But they ended up moving me into a private room in recovery so that my dad and my stepmom and my mom could come in and see me because my dad and my stepmom had to head home. But they wanted to see me and see how I was doing after surgery. And then shortly after they had all came in, they said, "Oh, we got to get you up and walking." So I walked and I had to go to the bathroom, and that was wonderful. They were like, "Oh, yes, good. You have to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom." So I got up and walked. I went to the bathroom. Um, and then they finally had a room for me and they moved me upstairs. And then my mom and my stepdad were able to come up and see me. They kept me overnight for one night, which is pretty typical unless you have some health issues where you're probably gonna have to stay longer. And with my diabetes, I was wondering if I would have to, but I didn't. But they want you walking every 3 to 4 hours. You also need to be taking stuff in. So I could call down to the kitchen and get like a sugar-free popsicle or water or like 50-50 dilated apple juice or grape juice or decaffeinated coffee. And I don't drink really coffee. So I was doing the juice, water, and the popsicles. And you also have to do an inhalation test. So they gave you, and I don't have it right here, but it's in front of me, this little thing where you have to inhale and see where it measures. And they have to keep track of that. By 7 o'clock the day of my surgery that night, I was declared an independent patient because I was able to get up and walk around on my own. So I was able to get up and walk around the floor to get my walk in, go to the bathroom. I was able to walk around my room. I was all good. And it was a private room. I was by myself. So that was wonderful. And got some good sleep, which was surprising. Last time I had to stay overnight in a hospital, I did not sleep very good. But I was also in like isolation. I was quarantined because of my cellulitis I had developed in my foot a few years ago now, like 6 or 7 years ago now. So that was the surgery. The next morning I woke up. They told me, "We're going to release you today. We just have to get an upper GI done." So I went down, did the upper GI, make sure everything internally was all good. And it was. Everything was great. Before I left, they removed the bandages off my incisions. I had 5 incisions total on my abdomen. All were fairly small except for one. One's about 3 or 4 inches, and that's where they remove my stomach. That they so that one was fun. And I also had staples. So that was a little intimidating. But the next part of the conversation is the home, going home. I was so excited to go home. I wasn't in a lot of pain, which was wonderful. I was so glad because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to handle this surgery. Like, I have a high pain tolerance, but I've never had surgery like this, so I wasn't 100% sure how I was going to be. So it was really, really positive that I was feeling good. Sent me home with all the usual stuff to help you go to the bathroom, stuff if you get nauseous, and stuff for acid reflux that you have to take for 30 days after surgery because acid is really not good. So when I got home, I for that first week stayed with or for almost that entire first week I stayed with my mom because at least for the first hour 24 hours to 48 hours you need to stay with somebody. So my mom lives close by and I stayed with her. Um the only pain I really had was you get gas bubbles in your left shoulder from pumping oxygen into your body when you're having the surgery. And all I had to do for that was drink lots of water, walk around, and use a heating pad. And I only really had it when I was like laying down to go to bed or laying back to rest. So it wasn't intolerable. Um, Showering was you had to have your back to the shower head, and as you're washing, you don't touch any of this. You don't wash your body around the incision. You just let like everything wash off you, and that cleans it. So that was easy. All I could have was clear liquids. So sugar-free Jello, sugar-free popsicles, and water, Crystal Light flavored drinks, Powerade, Gatorade Zero, Powerade Zero, Propel water. I think I just said that. Um, and dilated juice, diluted juice. Um, and that was it for the first week. And there were a few days where mentally I was thinking I was hungry, but it wasn't until the 1 week post-op appointment that morning I was truly hungry. I was like, okay, I can eat. I can eat now. Um, so at that 1 week post-op appointment, they removed my staples, weighed me again, which I'll get into my progress so far at the very end here. Weighed me again, removed my staples, put Stera strips on, And then they had a woman come in and talk to me about the next steps in my diet. So that day I went to a full liquid diet, which meant I could add protein shakes, milk, um, sugar-free puddings, sugar-free fudgesicles, cottage cheese, as long as you mashed the cottage cheese down really good and like blended it in a way. Um, and like soup broths and stuff like that. And you could have that on the clear liquid too, but I didn't feel comfortable with that. Um, so yeah, that was awesome. I was super excited. I was like, okay, we need to stop at a store and get me some fudgesicles because I need some fudgesicles. So that's for 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks later, you go to a pureed diet. And the pureed diet is exactly how it sounds. You can eat things like scrambled eggs, but they have to be really runny and mashed down. Cottage cheese still, but mashed down. Mashed potatoes, which I cannot tell you how excited I was. But they have to be thinned out. Um, they talked about you can hard boil eggs and make egg salad and blend it, which I didn't end up doing, but I did think about it. It doesn't sound terrible. It's kind of like having deviled eggs at that point. Um, they talk about you can blend down meats, but I wasn't gonna do that. That just sounded that can like I have a consistency thing. Um, and you can buy like stage one and stage two baby food, which I did try. It's not for your girl, but I did try it. Um, so yeah, like just that kind of stuff. And now today, I am still on the period diet, but today is exactly a month. So my next steps will be soft food diet and stuff like that. Um, but they do have you start taking supplements after your 1 week post-op. You take a multivitamin, iron. I take a multivitamin that's got vitamin D and vitamin B in it because you have to take those too. And an iron um supplement at 5 weeks. So when I go next week for my appointment, I'll have to start taking a calcium supplement, um, and all of that. So my progress so far with weight loss is from my heaviest weight that they weighed me at the first appointment with my surgeon was 330. And I am, as of today, 288. With the liver shrinking diet, in total, those 10 days, I lost 12 pounds. And yeah, here I am. So I am down 42 pounds. And it's incredible. I feel better. My face looks better. I can see my breathing's better. My sleeping's better. I'm a singer and I sing better. So the weight loss is just incredible. It's been amazing to see the differences. My expectations are they tell me a lot of people in this support group that I'm in that go through the same hospital have said that for gastric sleeve, between weeks two, or not weeks, months 2 and 6, you lose the most weight. So I know like right now I can hit a stall and it can kind of, but the 2 months marks comes and I might, that's when I might be losing more weight because you can start working out and everything. So I'm excited for that. Um, I'm excited to continue to feel better and like feel my breathing better, have more energy and everything like that. I'm super excited. But I'm expecting like hopefully by the end of the year to be at least 75, almost 80 pounds down from where I was at surgery or before surgery. And that's great for me because I am going in December to Australia again to visit Josh and his family. And we're finally going to get married. So I will be a Clark, Clark with an E. I will be a Clark in December. Um, so it'll be nice to travel with some weight off of me too. When I went the first time, I was about 280, 290. So to be closer to like 250, maybe 230 will be amazing. So I'm really excited to be traveling with that. My support has been incredible. My family, Josh, my friends. I did have some friends who weren't the most supportive. I had somebody tell me, or a couple of people tell me, that they thought I was taking the easy way out by doing the surgery, and in no way is this the easy way out. Like most people who are disciplined and can lose weight just working out and how they eat, without any medical issues, or even with some medical issues, some people can do it. But you're not putting your body through a surgical procedure. Like I had to go through a surgical procedure. I'm gonna change how I'm eating. I am changing how I'm eating and have to work out. Like I have another step in there that most people have not had to do. So in no way is this easy. This is a lot on your body, a lot on your mind. It's a lot. So if anyone tells you you're taking the easy way out, it is not the easy way out of weight loss. This is a lot to do. Um, the future, I'm looking forward to all the weight that I'm going to lose. I've seen a lot of people who've had gastric sleeve like post their 1 year out and they're like 120 pounds down. My goal is to be like 180, and I feel that can be achievable. Especially with my results so far, I feel like I can really do that. So I'm, hoping for the best. And NSVs. So NSVs are non-scale victories. I've had a couple already. So one, this shirt fits me. My Clark shirt fits me. Now I got this back in early 2020 when I was originally supposed to get married to Josh. Um, and it didn't fit me at the time. Well, it did, but it wasn't fitting like it is now. So that's a huge thing. I'm super excited about this. I had a pair of capris, denim capris that are super cute that I had when I went over to Australia in 2020 that I have not been able to fit in since. And I know that because probably in May, I went to go see if they would fit me and I couldn't get them over my thighs. And I tried them on and they went right up. They're a little tight, but they went right up. So they're close to fitting. Um, I've had to go down in a bra size for, as far as the band. I put on a bra that I hadn't worn since I had the surgery because I was wearing sports bras for a lot of the time after because there's an incision right under the left chest, left breast. Um, so I was wearing sports bras because they were more comfortable and they weren't as binding. And I went to go put on a bra that I hadn't worn since I had the surgery and it was on the loosest where it had been. And I put it on and I moved. And as soon as I moved, I just dropped out of it. And I was like, okay. So I had to go buy a band size down, not a cup size, but a band size at least. And I also went shopping with my mom a couple weeks ago and was fitting in smaller size pants and shirts already. Now it's only one size, but it's still something. So I'm really, really excited. I'm really proud of myself. And yeah, that's my weight loss surgery journey so far. This is 1 month out of surgery. So August 15th was surgery. Today's September 15th. My posting schedule, there might be little slots in between, but the big videos are going to be the next one will be 3 months, then a 4 month one while I'm in Australia, a to kind of let you guys know about like how traveling was because I have to take supplements with me, protein shakes, all that kind of stuff. So just kind of give you insight on traveling. Then I'll come back and I'll do a 6 month one, and then I'll do a 9 month one, and then I will do a 1 year one. And I'm sure there will be little videos in between, but then we'll kind of go from there. Maybe it'll be every 6 months I do a video after that, or maybe I'll still do 3 months and just kind of keep it going. But I'm super excited to do these videos and share all of this with people because I love hearing people's success stories, especially when it's something I'm considering and something I'm thinking about doing. I love to hear the positive and how people do. Even though everyone's adventure and everyone's journey is going to be different, it's really good to hear input from people who have been through those things. So these videos are for my friends, my family, my supporters, my followers, if anyone's interested, but also for people who may come across it who have had the surgery and want to hear another success story, or the people who are thinking about it and want to hear what other people have gone through to know what to expect. Even though it's not all going to be the same, it's nice to hear it. So, yeah, it's been 2.5 years. This is my update for you guys. And it's been 1 month, and I'm excited to see what the next few have to share with me. And I'll see you guys November 15th. when I post another long video, but watch for in between. There might be a couple of shorts in there or little videos in there. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys will continue to listen and keep an eye out. Everyone have a good one. Bye.